and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're back again for Dreams Money Can Buy Season 2. We have a man of many names, but he goes by one. He's Tony Thames. Is it Thames?
Correct.
Okay. So we're going to talk about his original name, and we're going to talk about his journey into the music business. It's actually been a lifelong journey, really. Because, did my research, did my Googles. But Tony, how you doing? How you been?
Amazing.
It's good. It's a long time coming. We had to cancel last minute because family things. We got to take care of the family.
Yeah,
but I'm excited. We're going to talk about this. So when I was researching you, you were singing and like playing instruments since the church, right?
Yeah, I grew up singing, and then I think when I was like 6 or 7, started doing piano lessons. That didn't last too long because I didn't like it.
Okay.
But I maintained the general understanding of how to do it.
Okay. Because I know now I know of one of the instruments that you're really proficient is like the guitar, right? So
actually, no, I know too many great guitar players to even let you say that.
Okay.
And agree with it. I'm all right.
All right. I know because I know one of your idols. Fine. Humility.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about real humans in real life.
All
I know,
right.
like,
your peers.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm all right.
Okay. Respectfully. I like that. He's being honest. He's being very
like, I could do it in front of people confidently, but that's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So just from like when you were 6 to like, let's say before you go to West Coast, like, was there any plan of you wanting to be like a musician or singer, just go on stage and perform?
Not. I would say not seriously, because like I think every kid got like all the dreams, sports, music, whatever. But like growing up, music was like a fun thing, but I only saw bad things come from people who attempted to pursue it. Like all my friends that ever fixed their brains to be like, oh, I want to rap or whatever, their lives just went a weird way. So that's kind of why I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to school. Like, I'm gonna play basketball. I started playing basketball really late. That's the one thing that I wish I did earlier.
Oh, the basketball dreams?
I was very, very good very, very quickly, but it was too late.
Oh, because you started like your mid to late teens?
I was like 15 when I was like, oh, wait, I could do this. But I'm not tall enough to get the, because if you're 6'6", it doesn't matter when you start.
It doesn't.
You're 6'6". Like,
if you had started earlier, that height wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but like, so that was like one of the first things I was like passionate about. Like, at first it was the drawing thing that drawing is actually the first thing I did in the artistic realm. And then music was like a cool little extracurricular kind of thing.
So you were just doing that for fun?
Yeah, like I had to go to church. So I was like, I make the best out of this. Like, be in the choir and stuff like that. And I enjoyed it. But I never had any desire to pursue it. Any real desire to be like, oh, let me try to make beats or whatever, like, or make music.
This is amazing. Just because I listened to your entire like catalog of music and I would have never guessed it. But at some point, some light bulb had to like flicker for you to be like.
That was in college.
Okay,
So I went to college, and like I always I liked the idea of it. And once I figured out, because there's I think most casual music fans don't understand like the inner workings of stuff. Like, they don't understand like what production really is. They know, oh, people make beats, whatever, but obviously there's way more to it. And my junior year, I was like, well, first of all, I got a new roommate at the apartment I was in, and his name is Brandon Mills. He grew up with my other roommate, who I was like super tight with, still am super tight with to this day. So Brandon moved into the apartment, and he was a producer. So he moved in, and he had all these keyboards, Korg, Triton, all this stuff that I've seen before. And he was making like incredible beats when we were like 19 years old. And I was like, I was 20 at the time. Yeah. And I was like, bro, like, you have to teach me how to do this. I've always wanted to do it. And so he's the first person that I ever saw face to face that was like, his life wasn't a mess. And he was like actively pursuing.
Because the other negative, it was like negative, like, yo, this is not good for you. It's like a bad omen.
Yeah, like I got, like, growing up in Crown Heights, I had my friends that was like, oh, I'm a rapper or whatever. And it just went left all the time. Like, I wasn't old enough to know, because these are all guys older than me. So I wasn't old enough to know exactly
why it went left.
To me, it was just like, oh, you said you want to make music. Like I was a kid, like 8 years old. So I didn't understand like, oh, maybe your family sucked. Maybe you
those other like
the real life things. To me, it was just like, oh, rapping is bad. Not rap music, but like let the rappers rap. Like the music industry, that's not it. That ain't it right there. You know what I mean? And then obviously like my Caribbean ass parents would echo that sentiment because
like, oh, you trying
entertainment, exactly. You know what I mean? So it was that kind of thing. But yeah, in college, Brandon moved in, and then what I did talk about this in a couple songs. What I consider a very negative turned positive, fateful thing was that in 2007 I got hurt real bad playing basketball because I was actively like trying to walk on to University of Maryland basketball team. That was a thing that far-fetched, but I believed.
Yeah, dream.
Yeah, I believed it, and it wasn't. In the beginning, it was very, very much deterring me. Like freshman year, like I almost failed out of school just because I didn't care about school, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play basketball." Yeah, like, but I got that together quickly, and I hurt my ankle real bad. I was on crutches for like 3 months, and
wow,
and in that time, I'm used to playing basketball like 6-7 hours a day. So I'm like, all right, what the fuck do I do now? And then Brandon had that, and he had this old Casio keyboard, and he was like, yo, if you can make a decent beat on this shitty keyboard, I'll show you how to do it.
Wow. So he gave you like a training montage challenge of like, can you get the fly out my hand?
Correct.
Wow.
And I made a decent beat out of that, and then he was like, all right, I'll show you how to do it. And then I asked my dad to, and it's funny, like my dad, he was up until that point, he was very upset that I stopped playing piano. So I went to him and I was like, yo, I need $2,000 for this Roland Phantom piano thing. And I was shocked that he said yes.
Wow. He probably was waiting for you to be like, yo, get back to these keys, boy.
Yeah. And he was like, all right, put it on it. Because, went away to school, mad states away. Their parents gave me the emergency credit. I know.
In case of breaking glass.
Very blessed to have that. That's not standard for. It's not, but I had that luckily. And he was like, yeah, go buy whatever you want. Make sure it doesn't go over this price. And I was like, oh, that was fucking easy. And then, that's how it started.
Okay.
So it was like 2008 when it first, like, that was the very, very, very beginning of like, okay, I like doing it. It wasn't like oh my God, I'm going to take this to the top. It was like, oh, this is fun.
So you started on the producing side first. Mm-hmm. This is before you actually use your voice as an instrument. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you've always been singing in church. So it's kind of like that. I feel like the church is like the best like development camp ever when it comes to singers.
1000% agree. I think all musicians. I think it's the best training ground for all musicians.
I think that's the reason why we don't have a lot of people, not to say we don't have a lot of talent, people they are, but they come through different means. But usually like the legends in the church, because they're on a set schedule. This is when they perform. Everyone has a chance to try to do a solo.
And it's very competitive. Low-key, like OD competitive. So you got to be good to, like actually good to stand out in that setting.
So we're in college right now, but I'm going to pivot to younger you and come back. Mm-hmm. When you were singing in the church, were you competitive with your voice? You just did have fun?
I was the guy.
So you wanted to be the number one person?
I was.
So this is good to know because...
It just, I had that. That's why I said the singing, it wasn't even a...
Yeah, because you just did it.
I just did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's in your blood, right?
Yeah, my mom is a very good singer, yeah.
And also the competitive spirit. So this is why we're just bringing those things together. You crushed it when it comes to like trying to put your mark in the singing.
And I was not competitive like that.
Oh, but you were. Okay.
I'm competitive naturally when I actually care about it. I'm not like a super type A where it's like I have to win everything. I don't. I don't care. Like basketball, like
you really cared about it. That's when you see like I'm really putting in these hours to get nice at this.
Yeah, like I'll accept any challenge today.
Okay.
Like right now.
Your ankles are good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all the way good.
Totally not doing that. Yeah. But just to know, it's like painting the story that is, Tony, and it just comes to like those skills are like kind of like personality traits that you have. Mm-hmm. They lead into like building like this kind of like fortress of like creation that is you, right? Because you worked under production, you have that competitive mindset. Like once you start to like something, I'm gonna get nice at this, right?
Yeah.
Now you don't play basketball for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Now you focus on production. You're kind of like, yo, this is kind of cool. I want to crush it.
I didn't play basketball for like 6 months because after 3 months, it was like, oh, now you can walk properly.
Oh, snap.
It wasn't like, oh, Like basketball kind of like that was like the end of the hoop dreams type shit. Like I still played, but it wasn't.
It was like recreationally.
Yeah, I was actually playing for fun.
Damn.
Yeah, but I think it was a great blessing.
I mean, we
Like
got
a
you.
great
We
blessing.
have your
Yeah.
musical things, but okay,
Yeah.
so you weren't playing for 6 months. Thank you for that correction. So that's when you were kind of like really in the kind of like.
I'll just try to make better beats every single day.
So how did you know that person that was teaching you was you said Brandon?
Brandon
Was the one that was telling you like, this is you're getting better.
You know what's funny is yes, he was telling. He actually no. I'll have to tell the story honestly. Sorry. He ain't like none of the shit I made for real.
Wow.
It was other people.
Wow.
So like he was like super classically trained. So he's like an amazing piano player. I'm a good piano player.
Okay.
He's like OD amazing.
So he's like, I'm just
and
mafiosos with the fingers.
Yeah, and he made very, very, very good beats. However, he was the one thing I always tell people, like classically trained musicians are terrible producers.
Okay.
Because their mind has limitations on it. So he like I always like growing like I had let me skip backwards to make this make sense.
This is your story.
So stylistically and like the things I was interested in, it was anime. And then it was Dipset.
if you're not from New York, you don't understand how important Dipset was to the culture.
If you go on my Facebook, there's like 1,000 pictures of me just bandanaed up, biker chain, Jim Jones, Jewels type vibe.
Yeah.
And then in like 2003 or 4, it was Neptune's, Pharrell, everything, and that's till this day. That's really what it is. So I just always understood like a lot of people wouldn't see the cross section of Cameron and Pharrell, but they are the same thing to me. They are two people from wherever the fuck they're from that were like, I'm gonna do this thing way different.
You know, it's very funny that once you made me actually have to look at both of them, it actually makes a lot of sense.
They're one and the same.
That's crazy. I would have never.
So I looked up to those things. So like when it came to making music, when I went, like I always knew every Dipset thing, every Neptune's related thing. So when I decided to start making music, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make beats like Pharrell. So I was making this like weird ass shit, and my friend Brandon didn't.
Because
that wasn't his thing.
Trained.
He was like, you got to make beats like how Justice League made for Rick Ross and like these very cinematic thing. I'm like, no, take all these fucked up sounds and put them together. And I would introduce him to shit like this is like early, so like 08, like Cool Kids, when the Cool Kids was the new thing. You know what I mean? Like early 09, it was like early Odd Future type shit, you know? And it was like, he didn't care for it. And it took our other friends to be like, no, Tony's doing something good. And then it was really, when it really, really clicked is when the girls liked it. When the girls liked it, he was like, I'm wrong. And I was like, yeah, you are. You've been wrong.
Because women, like they always say, women are the tastemakers. If women like it, that means you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But still shout out to him, because like him not necessarily embracing what I was doing off rip, it made me want to do my thing better still.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, I'm not that kind of competitive. I don't want you to like it if you don't like it.
Yeah, it's just
I'm just going to show you that you're wrong, and you can stay wrong. Just know that you're wrong. So that was my whole goal. It's not that I'm going to make something so and so likes it. It's like, no, I know I'm right. So you stay over there and be wrong, and I'm going to do this thing over here.
Nah, that's it. I feel like he was like your early version of like Dr. Dre. Like, you know how Dr. Dre has the clear beats and he has the clear albums, and it's like until like it gets to a certain thing, it's like after a while some people just like, nah, I'm just gonna quit. It's like, nah, don't quit. I'm just gonna keep doing it until like you can't deny this.
Yeah, like it. So the way the whole story like came to a head is that, so in late 2008, he and I, because he can sing as well. He's a good singer as well. So we on campus, it wasn't really like, it was like 2 or 3 artists maybe that were like good, and we would try to make beats or whatever. But this is super early, and neither like we didn't have like our own studio setups to like have people come record and shit. We didn't have that vision. We just like, we can make 5 beats and whatever. So what we did decide to do was, I could write songs really, really well. he could produce really, really well. And we was like, all right, let's just make like a little duo thing. And it was called Clockwork Orange. Somewhere out there on MySpace, these songs exist.
That's crazy.
We made 4 songs. 3 of them were his production, and I would come in and, suggest certain things. Most of the time he didn't want to hear my suggestions. But then there's one song that we put out that was just my beat. And he absolutely hated it. I'm talking like, we would put our money together and book studio sessions. One of our homies was the engineer. He's Rob Folson. If he ever hears this, shout out to Rob. He used to really be like, yo, Brandon, you need to listen. Like, Tony's that dude. Like he was like an older dude. But he was like, not like, I would come to the studio. Like I treated it like serious. I would come to the studio in my best outfit.
Like, you like presentation. I'm gonna come with this.
I'm coming here, let y'all know, like I'm that guy, right? And he would always say that to Brandon, like, yo, you should listen to him, blah, blah. So the songs, first three songs we did, really, really good songs. One of them called I'm Gone. It was this really, really, really weird beat that I made, and he refused to put up the money for us to record it until one day my friend Sybil and my other friend Danielle came over to our apartment, and I said to him, I was like, I'm just going to play the beat. I'm not going to say anything, and I guarantee they start dancing. And that happened. And he was like, all right, we'll record it tomorrow.
This is the funniest thing, because this is true life thing. I feel like a lot of times with people, they're hard-headed. Like, you got to have something that was just undeniable. But while you had proved yourself right, because you were right, there was something that you just said it mad casually. Like, he was good at, like, singing stuff, but you're good at songwriting. Were you, like, writing songs when you were younger for, like, a long time? Because we didn't talk about that. Remember when we talked about anime and other things? You never talked about songwriting.
I wouldn't write, like, whole songs. It was something I knew I could, because I understood, like, the music. I understood. Okay. I don't know. Like, I always, like, I guess the best way to make it make sense is that, like, of all, like, as kids, we just absorb information and content. And, like, for me, it was always I didn't know that they were hit records as a kid, but, like, now I'm an adult looking back, I'm like, those are all my favorite songs. Like it's like one of the songs that I remember, like, as a kid, like, was Shanice, I Love Your Smile. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I remember.
Like, that's a classic hit record. And that was just something that stuck in my head. And I was like, that's what a song is. Like, that's what a song sounds like. So when it came time for me to write, I was just like, I know what the good songs are.
Okay. Because I was like, where did this part happen where you just writing songs? But instinctively, because of you acquiring, like, just knowledge, just living, you were just like, yeah, I instinctively know what is a good song, what's a bad song. Okay. So you're saying, like, 2007, 2008, 2009, when it comes to production side, you guys making songs. So from what I see from your music, the earliest thing I found, because I'm kind of surprised I couldn't find the Clockwork Orange, but I didn't know what to look for at that time. Earliest thing I saw on the internet was Wait EP 2015. So there's a lot of music in the last 5 years for me to digest, right? And I love your rollout. But when did you decide between 2008 to 2014 to start you doing your thing?
All right. So 2009, I graduated.
Okay.
And fucked around. And, like, I stayed down in Maryland. It was just fucking around, like, just going to the bar every day, just wilding out. And then early 2010, my homie Jordan, who was, like, Jordan Little, he's one of my really good friends. He lives down in Maryland. And he was actually the first person to be like, yo, you are great. You're not good. You're not regular. You are great. I want to help you. So he has 2 cousins who are, like, one of his cousins, like, OD, a legend in the music industry. I think it's his second cousin. His name is Johnny Wright.
That name sounds so familiar.
He's responsible for, like, NSYNC and Bxhxld.
Okay.
And
I feel like.
Yeah, like Britney Spears. And
he
was on Making the Band with Diddy.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where it comes together.
Like the original Making the Band.
That sounds mad familiar. Okay.
So that's his second cousin. And his first cousin, who he's, like, much closer with, is this guy named Melvin Brown. And he is, I believe, the co-founder of Convict Music, along with Akon.
Okay.
Yeah. So he just has these 2 cousins that are, like, in the industry. So
like right there.
He naturally was like, I want to be in it. And I met him through my other friend, my other roommate, who I'm super tight with, Ryan Jones. And, like, he just was be at our apartment when we was in school and like pull up for parties, and like they knew each other from childhood a little bit and whatever. And he would just hear my beats, and one day he was like, "Bro, like, what you trying to do?" Right? So that's that. And this is early, like 08 or whatever. So when I graduate 2010, he was like, "Yo, his mom had a house in Southern Maryland, PG County." And he was like, "Bro, come crash here at the basement, and let's, like, I want you to have a space where you could just work, and we figure it out." So early 2010, I did that. And then one day, bro, he was just like, "Yeah, so I'm moving to LA next week. If you want to come. If not, you got to leave here." Like, because you can't just stay here with my mom and shit. And I was like, "Oh,
okay.
All right, let's go to LA." So I went to LA, and to me, I still believe that's the biggest, most positive thing to affect my life as a musician, because like that's when I learned real competitive. Like that's when I gained real. Everything up until that point was just like,
You were just having fun.
yeah, but it was like, I know I'm right. I know I'm making better beats than the rest of y'all. When I got to LA, it was like, wait, I'm not making better. I'm not better than these people. Like I'm not. Like as a musician, like over, like, yeah, I can, because there's the thing, like, yeah, you can make better beats, but I'm not just a guy that can make some beats. I'm like, I could write songs, I could play instruments and all this shit. And it was just like going out. LA is a different place, man, because it's like, at least here in New York, there's obviously a bunch of people in the creative field and whatever, but like there are also like regular people. There are no regular people in LA. Everybody, even the doctors and lawyers, are like, yeah, I'm running this modeling agency. Like, there are no.
Wow. Okay.
Like, so everybody did something in entertainment and would proudly tell you that. I think here in New York, there's tons of people that have creative desires and endeavors, but they're not always quick to put that.
And like, they
front.
don't say it. They probably keep it to themselves.
Like in LA, somebody's happy to tell you they're a rapper or a singer or a painter or whatever the fuck they do, an actor, especially actors and actresses. So like, yeah, going out there, that was like, oh shit, like I gotta get for real, not great where my friend tells me I'm great.
Yeah.
I gotta be like, no, if your ears work properly, you know what the fuck is going on here. Like I gotta get to that level.
Okay. So just to interject real quick. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like when you were in Maryland and you were kind of like local good, whereas like a lot of people that you've seen or you can kind of like touch,
yeah,
like you listen to is like, yeah, I'm definitely better than y'all. So you're kind of like a big fish in a small pond.
Correct.
And then when you were like that fish that goes to like this huge like lake pond, you just like, oh, I gotta get better. And I feel like that, like you just said, now I get why you had to get hungrier, because before you was like, yeah, I'm nice, and then you kind of got humbled in a way where it's like, oh, you are talented. But
I got big humbled because I went out there, and so my homie Jordan, he kind of had a plan, and this is why I like to this day, like, he's not my manager anymore. I don't have a manager, but he still we talk a lot, and he's somebody who I'm gonna have involved with what I do for the first, unless something weird happens. But like, as far as I'm concerned, that's a forever, at least pick his brain about things or whatever, because we moved out there, and he moved out there I think 2 weeks before I did. And like day one, I had a studio session. Like I landed, dropped my shit off, and then he took me to the Valley to a studio session.
Wow. Jordan? Wow.
Yeah, shout out to Jordan.
Effective.
So he linked me up with this girl, Amber Melody. And she's, well, not that she's dead, but I don't think she makes music anymore. So she was.
Okay. I love the disclaimers. Like,
because I was gonna say was, and I was like, that's gonna sound weird. So let me clean that up real quick. But no, she was she's a British girl. Like to this day, I'm still not sure if she's 100% white, because she got that
kind of like
ambiguous-y
that
kind
flair
of look,
to it.
But it's in 2010, so it's not surgically induced.
Wow, so it was
she
like
just
that
looked
was
like
her.
that.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
And yeah, she was mad cool and talented and nice, and she's the reason I survived in LA. Because she, like, her manager at the time, I forget his last name, but it's a dude named Ray, and he used to manage Pamela Anderson.
Wow, small world.
So he had the goddamn bag. Like, first going to his crib was the first time I've been to like Malibu. You ever seen the Pacific Coast Highway?
Yeah.
Like all them houses up on the cliff overlooking the beach. That's how he was living.
Okay.
So she just had bread. So I had none. So she fucked with me so heavy that she was like, bro, if
why
you just...
Why is there gnats in here?
I don't know, bro. She was like, if you... She was like, if you just crank out beats for me, I'll pay for your groceries. I'll help you, give you money. Like, and I was like, amazing. So that's the situation Jordan had me in.
So you were basically making beats to survive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that happened for the year I was out there, but then the weird, not harsh, the weird reality of music and entertainment in general kind of kicked in. So like, she just, I don't know how else to say it. She was just unserious. Like she taught me work ethic, but she would like create all these songs and have all these ideas that were good and then just never press the button on them. Like every time it was time to be like, yo, we should put a song out, she'd be like, oh no, we have to tweak this snare drum. I don't like the mix, let's start over. Now as a grown ass adult, I'm like, oh, she was just afraid to fail.
Okay. Cause at first I was just like,
she was just afraid to put something out and it didn't go multi-platinum. So she'd rather just be in the studio, and it wasn't her, the bill, she wasn't footing the bill. So it didn't fucking matter.
But you were just like, WTF.
Yeah, because so the whole 2010, we're working, we're making songs. It's great, whatever, right? I moved back to New York because me and all my roommates, we were just broke. Like, no other way around, you know what I mean? So like, moved back to New York, and it was sad until like, while out there, that's when I first started making my own music.
Okay.
So like, I had like the week when I moved back to New York, I had like a show in New York. So I was like, oh, moving back home is going to be great. Get to move back home. Everybody's happy to see me. And I always get to be like, oh, come to my fucking show, whatever, right? Yeah, wow, this is, I never think about this shit. Because I hate nostalgia. Because you either get sad or upset. So it's
hey, this is your journey, bro. And
I'm just thinking about it.
You're the first person
wow,
that you're like most of the time people they don't realize to the end of the interview, like but you're like going through these memories and it's just like, yo, I feel like I can see it on you right now.
Yeah. But so I moved back, and so when I moved, she's like, okay, you're going back, but we're gonna keep working, whatever. So I moved back home, like, okay, I'm finally putting out my own music. I got this girl in LA that's got all these, like, bro, her older brother is this producer, Jess Jackson, who you remember the album that Tiger did that had Rack City on it? Yes. He produced half that album. He's worked with Kanye and shit. Like,
she's around people.
Her older brother, like, it's crazy because we used to go over to his house and like he was mad nice. I was annoying.
Because you're young and...
Yeah, so sometimes he would just be like, all right, relax. But like, he was playing all these records, like goddamn Tyga was in the studio with Pharrell at the time. And he would always be like, man, I know you love Pharrell. I'm going to try to get you in. And I was like, fam, if you allow me to meet Pharrell, I'll die right here. And it'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine. Fuck this music career. Like, it's fine, right? So that's why I'm like, okay, she's doing her own thing. Her brother's doing this whole thing. All I got to do is like keep sending her beats and just letting her know that I'm invested and I care. And I'll do my own thing. So it's like, there's this three-pronged attack, a three-pronged bi-coastal attack towards the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. So I, right before I left LA, I put out, I used to, this is why I was thinking about it, because I was like, this is going to sound mad all over the place, but that's what it was. So with Amber, I was producing like pop R&B kind of songs. And I noticed that for myself, I didn't want to sing those songs. Like, I would help her write songs and all this stuff like that. But I was like, if I want to be the face of something, I don't want to be an R&B singer. I want to make rock music. And that's what I was doing. So I put out this 9-track EP under my actual first name as a stage name.
Wow.
Which was The Free Radical. And that's what was out. So when I moved back to New York, I had like my younger homies from University of Maryland. They were like my band members, the young homies. So they and it was exciting. They got to come to New York to do a show. And think about it, this is 2010. This is a different world.
Yeah, it is definitely different.
There's Twitter, and that's it. And Facebook. This is before Facebook became the worst shit of all time.
For the old people.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook was still like legit or whatever. So like, it was really exciting. Like, I just felt like very encouraged. So all that's going on. So that's how 2010 ends, with just me, you know, every week, every other week or every month I'd have a show.
Random question. Mm-hmm. What was the name of that project? Because you said you went by your stage name.
The Free Radical EP.
Okay.
You can, that's easy to find.
Probably gonna have to find that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
This is what happens when I'm gonna have to get my research back to get even better, because I'm kind of like the Clockwork Orange thing. Like, I'm not that upset about.
No.
But
there's
this one, I was like, why didn't I think to look for that?
Yeah. But yeah. So that's how 2010 ends. So early 2011 comes, and Amber was like, "Yo, check your email. This song I made the beat for. Song plays like first 4 bars of the instrumental. I'm like, tight. 5th bar kicks in and 50 Cent's rapping on my beat that I made for her in 2000. And this is 50 Cent 2011. So he's not Get Rich or Die Trying, but he's not like OD washed and not caring about music the way he does now.
Is this around the
No, this is after like Ayo Technology, but he's still like.
No, I'm thinking, is this the 3rd album? Like, because the Mastercade came right after.
That was 05. Yeah, no, the 3rd album was the one with Justin Timberlake and all the Timberland shit, the Ayo Technology shit. Yeah. 20 is he's not. That's what I say. He's not popping. This is
after
in music.
Curtis. Before I Self-Destruct. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
So he's not at the nowhere near his peak, but it's still
a big deal.
He's still 50 Cent the musician at this time. This is like before he was like whatever with the music industry.
Power. And I'm just like, I don't care about it.
And it's 50. So if 50 could come on now, I'll take the 50 Cent feature today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's still his name.
Exactly. But so she's like, yeah, man. She calls, she's like, when you listen to this song, call me. So I call him like, what the fuck going on here? Like, am I about to be rich? Like, like what's going on? And she was like, it's in the studio at Record Plant. That's one of the bigger studios in LA. She was like, I was in the B room playing the song, writing or whatever, and 50 was in the A room next door, and he walked by and he heard it and he was like, I want to get on this. So now you can't tell me shit, bro. I got a song, 50 Cent, that's about to come out along with all the other shit she and I have together. And then I tell all this to tell you the moment in life when I was like, oh, I'm the artist now. I'm not waiting around. I'm not moving at anyone else's pace, because what year is this?
You said 2011.
What year is this right now?
Oh, we're in 2020.
Yeah, song never came out.
Wow.
Her management and everybody was so hyped. You know what I mean? Like, they got everybody to sign off on the release to, like, he really liked the song. He was like, yo, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, put it out, whatever. We'll figure out the rest afterwards. Song never came out. She never put out any music. And I was like, fam, I'll produce for people, but I will never, ever again in my life, like, be on someone else's schedule.
That's a tough pill to swallow. That's why I can see
it was very upsetting, and it didn't deter me. I wouldn't say it deterred me. It just made me go back in the lab, kind of refocus, and that's kind of why, like, I put stuff out between 2011 and 2000, but it was like I put out a song and then I'll take it down off SoundCloud and put a different version of it up. It was the focus wasn't there. So that's why you see that. That's why, because that's how this journey started. You asked me what was the gap between 2010.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to be like some type of recruiter that's looking at your experience, like, because there's so much music that's come out from 2015 to like the present, and even recently when it comes, your album or project, because everyone has different things.
No, they're albums.
It's an album.
They're all albums.
Bxhxld, and I'm listening to that, which I'm glad I actually had the extra time to like digest that. It's just, dude, you did a lot in like these like 5 years.
Yeah.
Where is this before? Because I know you've been doing like a lot of the developmental process before that.
I think. All right. So I know for a fact. So 2011 till I would say 2016 actually. That was me like. So I didn't, like I said, not for any negative reason, not for no like, excuse me, yeah, nothing negative. I just never saw myself as like a R&B singer.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When I listen to your music, that's not what I think about.
Yeah, but I had to come to grips with the fact of how the world.
Oh yeah, they try to put labels and stuff.
Unfortunately,
They
so
still
like
put the wrong labels on you, even in recent articles.
Yeah. So like, that was one thing I struggled with, where I was making like I have plans coming up to like put all this stuff out and package it in the right way, but like I was really like making these really interesting like Radiohead-ish kind of rock songs, and I just don't think people got it. Like, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, my songs are amazing, and no, maybe it doesn't matter what the songs, the quality of the songs were. It's just that it didn't connect, and that's the most important thing. So like, I took those L's over a couple years, and I would also happily spent that time like developing myself as a human being. Like I think over those, especially like I would say like 2012 to 15, it was like stylistically like understanding who I am, like how I present myself to the world, and like embracing individualism and those type of things that I think matter more than putting out good songs.
Okay, because like that adds to the flavor. Because then like you can put out good songs, but what is your look? What is your brand? So I get it. Okay.
Like what energy are you offering to the people? Why should they press play? You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff is what I was figuring out. I was making music all the time. Like that's why like if I'm gonna do this on my IG story one day and just scroll through my beat folder. Because I can do it for the whole. I know.
I need to make sure that
for multiple like story posts.
I'm gonna have to check, like, because I don't really check IG story because I'm overwhelmed with all of it. But when that happens, before you do it, just like tweet me or text me, like I'm about to do it right now, and I will stop whatever I'm doing to watch it. But I think that's just something when it comes to like your life and like how you express it is really evident in the music. Like even when you were saying like Maryland, I think there's a song about why is it? Am I hitting that's probably me. The PA something.
Richboro, Pennsylvania. That's a 2017 story.
Yeah. So I mean, when we get there, we're gonna get there. But it's just like a lot of your projects. I even want to say like evolution of sound, but I think it's more as you grew as a person, you were kind of like understanding what type of kind of like thread you wanted to like show the world, right? Just because when you were saying like earlier you have the rock music, and when I was listening to it, like Wait EP, and I think
that's the last of the like on that EP in particular. Yeah. So the first song, that's a goddamn rock song.
Yeah, Endless World. But you know what's interesting? I really like that song.
No, I love that song.
Like because. But it's just when I look at that, and this is why I wanted to save this card. I didn't want to tell you before the interview. When I look at Bxhxld versus like Tony Thames, it reminds me of Kobe, like Kobe 8 and Kobe 24. So it's like, and when I'm looking at the years of like the projects, right, it's like 2015 to 2000, kind of like 18-ish is like Bxhxld. And you still have some things starting from Tony 2018. And then you kind of like go forward in that. It's like, Bxhxld had like a lot of extra flair. And it's not like you don't have flair now, but it's just like you were just doing things that when I was listening to it, was like, yo, this is dope. Like this is like sonically, like I'm just like, it was different. And then
I have you know, it's funny. I didn't see it like that until earlier this year when I did that FKA Bxhxld thing with the old songs. Yeah. And one of my homies, Nigel, he like super fan of mine, and he cool, like he's actually my friend, but like I fuck with him because like he's always been like very straightforward, like, yo, you are great, but you know, but without OD, and you know what I mean? Just like a good friend that's like always very, very like there with the positive affirmations. And like he tweeted me one day, he was like, something, this is what the streets needed, and like that Bxhxld era was special. And at first I was like, all right, what the fuck is this then? What was like, is this not special what I'm doing this year? And I was like, wait. If I'm being honest, my brain was in a different place. my brain wasn't a very like I'm a show off. Like I don't even like looking back on that. I was like I don't even. There was a purity to it where it's like I'm not even trying to make like nothing that sounds relatable to anything else. I'm gonna just show y'all how good I am at making this shit that literally doesn't sound like anything else outside of the occasional songs where it's like obviously he was listening to Prince that day.
Yeah, I mean, like clearly when you like, it was interesting. I really hate doing like comparisons of like, yo, you sound like this person, but when you like listed your idols, like subconsciously, I was like, that makes sense to me, right? Yeah. And I feel like with how you do like the visuals and how you like do your rollouts, and this is really odd me saying this just because of like you would probably understand why. You remind me of Childish Gambino, but not like going into like the rapping, but just like the production, like the sound quality and value of like you are just going in this lane where it's just like my lane is no lane. It's like I'm just creating. I'm not really trying to be put into a box. Like you'll see the experience. So with what Nigel said, when I listened to it like before, like we had to reschedule, that was the one quote that was in my head the entire time of like, I've seen you and I've come to some of your performances as Bxhxld and I haven't for Tony just yet, but that'll change when pandemic.
No, that's not your fault. There's only been like 2 performances since because of how
the world
life is.
But like to me, when I saw you as Bxhxld, it's not like I see you as a different person. It's like a different part of your career. So I'm thinking like the whole, like one of my favorite projects, like New York is Trying to Kill Me, and that's not on streaming platforms right now. But when I saw it and I saw you, it's like that, the vocal range, like the music in the background, it was just, I feel that because we were from here, so I get it. But when you get into like Tony, and we get to that later, there's such a mature refinedness, and it's really crazy how that happens in 5 years. And like 2.5 is like, all right, I'm gonna have low cuts, I'm gonna have silver hair, I'm gonna, you can say whatever you want about me, it's true. It's like I don't care, and it's just like, how did you evolve that fast? But this gun, you explained that you were making so much music in between those gaps before that now it's just like,
bro, the fun thing, the reason music is so much fun to me now is because like, I understand that like, I started late. I didn't make a beat until I was 20 years old, right? So like, they always say like it takes 10 years to become an overnight success or whatever, and it's like that's OD true, bro. Like, I had to do all that work in the shadow. I feel like I'm still in the goddamn shadows. I know a lot of people know my music, and like I've had many of those instances where like actual like famous people are like, oh yeah, I've heard your song. I'm like, wait, how? Well, and also why you won't tweet about it? Like,
yo, you should talk about my thing, bro.
Yeah, like, but like, no, that work is necessary, and like, I think in like 2016, I understood like all artists have that weird thing where we think we should get everything in month 6. And 6 months in, it's like, okay, I've been working for 6 months. Where's my Grammy? Like that type of thing. And then I started noticing, I was like, fam, there's artists like, let's use one of my favorites. Like, let's use like Young Thug. Like, fam, Young Thug's been, he's been this version of himself in his head since he was probably a little ass kid. You know what I mean? Like, just, I believe if I'm, I hope I'm not mistaken, but I believe like in 2011, before any of us knew who the fuck he was, he had like 10 mixtapes out in that year alone. And it's like, there are people like working way harder than me. So in 2016, I was like, oh no, I'm on schedule. And then it all just became fun. And I got really relaxed. And I was like, fam, I don't care if I don't have a popping song until I'm 40. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be the swaggiest 40-year-old of all time. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care about any of that, any of those boundaries that people impose on themselves. I refuse. I reject all of it. So that it's like I'm completely comfortable, and I feel like the time and the journey make perfect sense.
Yes. I mean, I was gonna try to have like a very insightful retort to it, but I had to just digest that. I was like, I think that's something that's interesting, especially with people getting mad about the Grammys and all these kind of awards on like a yearly basis, because like it's kind of like clickbait at this point.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like, especially when it came to particular artists that they didn't add there, it's just like, it was, it was personal. I think they took it personal. They're being petty. And I think as someone that was very intense with like the last 2 weeks of listening to your music, it shows. It shows with like, there is no song that I don't like, and it's not just because we're friends, and I'm not some music reporter or whatever. I mean, the reason why I wanted to interview is because I got to see this, like, not when it started, obviously, but when I came in, just because of our mutual friend, and I was like, yo, this dude's nice, and then I was like, no, this dude's really nice, right? And I know a lot of people know me, I'll big up anybody, but then I was like, okay, I'm locked in on this journey, right? Like, if there's any opportunities, like, I'll always like, something, I'll tag, I'll do this. But that's just because you did the work. But then I was always questioning, like, that transition of Bxhxld to Tony, right? Because you're still the same person. You still dress the same swaggy. Not the same swaggy. It's like, it's distinct. When I see a music video from you, it's still your creative thing. Like, why did you change the name?
I could tell you that story because, all right, so look. I put it in the song on the last album I put out last year, and the song called "My Whole Life." I talked about that. So, in 2012, that's when I like it's weird. It was the actual. Actually, I lied. In 2011 was not the final nail in the coffin with the "I'm not going to be on anybody else's time." 2012 was the real. Like 2011 was like, I'm not going to be on anybody's time, but if this artist of this caliber was like blah, blah, right? 2012, I was still open to, and I'm still open to producing for people, as you can see from some of my joints, like Noah Kane or whatever, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
But like I think 2012, I learned the difference between people that like making music and people that like, they live for this shit. So, but this person, like, I'm grateful towards her because it was fun, the stuff we did, but she just, and I understand everybody got that's why, like, I don't want none of this to sound like,
it's not mean spirited. It's like honest. It's like,
yeah, but like I was working with my friend, Nikki, and, I got linked with her through one of my childhood friends, Curtains. And he was just like, yo, I got this friend. She could sing. She's really dope. Like, she's looking for a producer. So I linked with her and we got along really, really well. And I like go to her house once a week and like just work on stuff, whatever. And it's funny, like at that time, that's 2012 is when I first took on the name Bxhxld.
Wow.
As a production stage name, all that stuff, because that started literally because I was like,
so that was your producer name.
It was and my stage name.
Okay,
so but that's before I took on the. Like, remember I tell you I put out a couple songs in 2010. Those same songs I would just over the next 2 years I would like tweak and try to mix them better. Yeah. So like those same songs came out again in 2012, early 2012, and then that's when I was like, you know what? Let me put out new shit because I have new songs. Let me just put out new stuff. Then I used that stage name Bxhxld, and I was playing songs for her and she loved it and whatever. And she was like, yo, she asked me, what is Bxhxld about? And I was just like, I wanted a name that was like OD arrogant, like hello world, like
Bxhxld,
like it's me. And she was like, I love it, but I think your real name is so much cooler. She was like, why don't you just use your name, Tony Thames? She was like, it has the alliteration. It's your name. She was like, people will call you Bxhxld, but it's that awkward thing. And at the time I was like, I want that awkward thing. I want that
discomfort, that difference,
like
that
whatever.
edgy.
Like if I introduce myself as a verb, like I want people to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Like,
but also it's pretty powerful because then it's just like,
it was cool. It was cool. So all those years happened. 2019, I think it was March. I did a show. It's the last show I did with the company So Far Sounds. And I did a show. It went really, really well. I did like an acoustic set or whatever. And at the end of my set, these two girls came up to me and they were like, yo, you are so fire, blah, 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 blah. We were trying to find you on Spotify. How do you spell your name again? And in that moment, I was like, this name is stupid. This name is stupid because it dawned on me in that moment, bro. I literally asked myself in the moment, I was like, I wonder how many times someone heard my song or liked a song and literally didn't want to do the work of spelling it the right way and they couldn't find, or whatever, any of that difficulty because it was spelled Bxhxld. Like people didn't know how to pronounce it, so they just left it alone. Someone said, oh, you should listen to Behold, and they typed in Behold.
And they couldn't find
it, and that's it.
Wow.
Like just the difficulty of having a weird spelling name. I was like, fam, I have two good real name options. I can go Tony Tulloch or Tony Thames. That's my middle. My middle name is literally Thames. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I making? Because it was a cool name. I love it. People still love it to this day. But like, at some point, I felt like I had to get out my own way. And it's like, it's not a negative thing. My name is Tony. Like they don't get much easier than
it's like,
Tony.
You know, double T. And it's like a strong, performance.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck it. And I literally took down a bunch of songs and reposted them up as Tony Thames. And I was like, I'm not looking back. I'm doing this. Like, because it's funny, like through all those years, even though I just said like I would introduce myself as Behold and it'd be that discomfort, I was uncomfortable with it. So sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I'd be like, yeah, my name is Tony. And then people would be like, oh, you make music, blah, blah. What's your name? I'd be like, oh, my stage name isn't Tony. It's Behold. And it's like, fam, I'm sure there's like countless times where people was like, never mind.
Damn. I get it.
Especially like out, like imagine a bar, you're dealing with drunk people. It's like.
Because they're not even going to be coherent enough to have this conversation. They'd be like,
it's not worth it. Like, and I was like, I know how people, we're all lazy. We all want everything on a platter, easy, digestible. Yeah. So I was like, so that's how the name got switched to my real name because I was just like, and I honestly felt so stupid too. I was like, fam, I wonder how many opportunities I fucked up. And I don't regret it, but I have to be realistic and think about that side of it too.
I mean, okay, on the flip side, not just because I'm your friend, I'm just going to say that, but there are people like ASAP Mob and ASAP, Ferg with the symbols and stuff like that, or even people like Ty Dolla $ign. And they're all talented people and they have the symbols. It's just
but you can read, it's readable. Like a $sign is an S. Like there's no question.
Okay.
Like Bxhxld, like the X is a vowel filler. Which vowel though? Is it Behold?
All right,
Behold, like which vowel is it? Like
you're right. You're right. You're right.
And then I started after I decided to make the change, I started thinking back on Twitter, like how you have your @ name and then your whatever. I forget what they called the first name though.
Is the username a display name?
Display name. There we go. And I was like, for years, my display name was literally pronounced Behold. I was like, that's so stupid. Like, why?
I mean, come on. You've seen a lot of other display names. It was crazy.
But it just made me really think like, I wonder what could have been if my name was just Tony Thames this whole time. I just wonder, because it can only be two things. Well, three things. It'd have been the same. Could have been way worse or way better.
True. But I feel like that learning process, even with that, like you just said, you don't regret it. And I
don't at all.
But then it kind of comes to the next question where I had, like, I showed you in the notes with like the highlight yellow. So some of these things like New York's Trying to Kill Me, that project, and a lot of these other singles, I know for some like Angels, it kind of got repackaged in the FKA Behold. But what is New York is Trying to Kill Me? Because I have no problem paying for it because I think now at this point streaming does not pay our artists. And I'm learning that I'm going to start buying music now. But
It does not.
Is that what you want kind of like your audience to go into? Because that would be smart if that's what you want us to do.
No, I'm not forcing anyone to do it. Like, if you want to, like, I still understand this, man. Like, the people who are willing to pay for shit, they'll do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to, fine, whatever. I don't want to be one of those artists because, like, I still understand that, like, yeah, fans want to support artists, but convenience rules over everything. It doesn't. You can't win that battle until, especially for like consumers who have no connection to this industry outside of they like the songs. Like, you have mad musician friends, so you hear this story over and over and over.
Yeah, I pretty much understand that. Yeah. It's like I do if I'm not like buying merch or if I'm not like doing what I do, if I'm listening to the song, I'll post it on Twitter and be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And it's like, I'm listening to this right now. So it's like,
exactly.
So like, I'm doing like that, using my platform to like advertise too.
But most people just want to hear the song. They don't care how much you got paid. They don't care how much you didn't get paid. They don't care. So I understand that and I respect that. Because it's not for them to care about necessarily.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's on us as the artist to give them a reason to maybe buy this album on Bandcamp or on iTunes or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, did I make a product that was so great that you don't mind spending $7 on it? If yes, then yes. If no, then no. If maybe later, sure, whatever. It's up to you. I would never be. That's why even like I didn't post my Spotify rap shit because I was like, I don't care. Like, niggas listen to it and that's it. Like, all right, thanks.
Nah, I respect it. I just wanted to know for some of those projects, like from like between 2016 2017, why aren't they on streaming?
Well, I took down a lot of the ones from 2017 for sure because I want to use them again. Okay. Like I honestly think that was some of my best. That's like some of my favorite work. Those singles, those Lucy's I put out in 2017, like Fall and Heart Speak.
Yeah, I was listening to that
ballady
today.
Type of things. I think I love those songs. Yeah, and I want to do them better justice in the future.
Because I was kind of mad at I was about to fling my burner phone because I was like, it shows up when it's on the singles, but it's like, it's not available in this country. Yeah. And then I just did my extra work to like, I think yesterday, today, just like I went on Bandcamp and I listened to them over and over. Yeah. So I was like listening to Angels, but then some of the songs got like, I'm doing well. And like the other ones is like, I really like Heart Speak, right? I feel like that's something that I was like, when that's on streaming, I'm definitely like putting it on Instagram, putting it on Twitter. Yeah. So, but what I like what you do, and this made me realize when I had my notes and I had to listen to it again, like with Angels, and you said, you know, like Angel All Around Me when you kind of remastered it.
I learned that lesson the hard way too, because what happened when I changed my name, I was under the impression that because all the like the songwriter information would be the same, that they wouldn't trip, and none of the streaming services trip except Apple Music. That's why that EP with the songs like Hollywood Hills and It's All Right, that's not on Apple Music.
Wow.
Because it's fucked up because only the song I have called Hell or Heaven, that song triggered a metadata clash. Not the other 5 songs, just that song. So they were like, that whole album can't be on streaming.
That was the EP.
It was, at first it was called Lo and Behold, and then when I did the name change, I switched to De Novo.
Yeah, because I was trying to look for it, and
it's on Spotify, and the rest it's just not on Apple Music.
I feel like I'm probably gonna have to get into my
and it's on Bandcamp. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be on my investment bag and just have Apple Music and Spotify. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's not a project that I don't like, right? And I feel like this is why when I made that comparison to you and Childish Gambino, because I've been a heavy Childish Gambino fan, right? Mm-hmm. I appreciate every project of his because I see where he's at in that point of life, right? And I don't like doing direct comparisons. I just like your trajectory.
He's OD talented, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, cool. I just want to be respectful because some people don't like comparisons, but I'm just saying for you. And when I get to a Noah Kane, and I really like those collaborations that you had with him in 2018. It was just like when I'm seeing that kind of like. You're putting like, if you're like a samurai, you have like different swords. It's like, I'm using this sword for this one. I'm using this sword for this one. And I think that's what's cool about your music.
That's been fun for me. it was frustrating at first because I feel like I be feeling sometimes like people put me in their box that they created and asked them to create. So like I think Bitch I'm Cute is by far the best thing I've done. Not because it's the newest thing, but because it I actively was like, I need to have like super high energy songs on there. I need to have some minimum. I was like, this is everything.
Okay, so you're talking about the balance of it. So I get what you're talking about. Okay,
yeah, because look, when I really took a step back and thought about why people had their own distinction between like a Bxhxld album, and I was like, oh yeah, on a lot of the two Bxhxld albums, I was like, yeah, let me put 1,000 instruments and sounds into these, and I'm gonna sing these crazy falsetto. I'm gonna just wild out as much as possible. I'm gonna wild out, and through the advice of some friends and stuff, they were like for instance, my homie Alex Tume, he's always like, yo, his favorite songs are the ones when I do less. And I was like, if he feels that way, I wonder who else feels that way.
I mean, and he's also a very talented producer.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, but is it really distinct with the sounds? Like to me, it's kind of like on some Ryu and Ken thing, and I'm full of analogies, so it's a little weird.
I'm with you though.
But it's like when I think of Bxhxld, I think of Ken, man. I think of like the flame uppercuts. I think of like that, and when I think of Ryu, is like, and you're still both talented. Movesets are slightly different, but it's just like, yo, I like both of them. To be honest, I don't have a preference. I just be like, when you get in either bag, it's just like, but when you get in both of them, which is like, you know, Bishop and Q's like, oh, you really hitting it. It's kind of like, you know, I'm not trying to take shots at my favorite artists, but you know, when people try to have like those dual albums, like I really need you to embrace both sides, not just kind of like put your toe in it. You really were like, I'm gonna really bring both of them into this,
bro. Like a song like on the new album called like the song Santa Cruz is like that. Like that's like a big, so like it just sounds big.
Sounds like high level type things.
Yeah, and it's like that's done. I did that on purpose because I know that a lot of the singles in recent history, like the stuff I put out like this year, it's been like mad, like minimal, like more chill than not kind of vibes, you know. And it's just fun to experiment with it, man. I just want to see like, because there's one thing that the funniest thing is that as much as I know that distinction exists, these songs are performing way better than anything Bxhxld ever, any of the Bxhxld songs. Like I got songs like Summer's Coming Soon, like has 100,000+ just on Spotify alone. You know what I mean? Like I ain't got shit from the Bxhxld era that got more than like 5,000. I like no. Two of my songs on Everything You Heard About Me Is True had like decent numbers.
Yeah, because that was a good project too. But your singles, and I think when it comes to like how you get ready for like launches of albums, it's, I try not to, because I don't want people to be like, if they ever listen to this and try to write an article, but it's like, you know, like when they're not throwaways, but you're intentional with some of the singles. Like some of the singles might make the album, maybe one or two, but the other ones are just like, I'm just testing things out. I'm just practicing. I'm just like, but you care about these things.
I've tweeted that before. I was like, fam, in between albums, I'm having fun. I want to. If you hate it, tell me. I don't care. Like I'm just like, bro. I made like my favorite song I did this year is that song 10 Toes Down.
Yo,
that's my favorite song because I was like, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm from Canarsie. I was super early telling people about Pop and all them dudes out there.
Flaws,
like, and I was like, I love all this shit, but how can we do it different? Because the cool thing about drill is that it is maximal. It's big. Like it's a big, dark, cinematic sounding beats. And I was like, what if we took all that shit out? What if we took all that out and just did it bare bones? What would that sound like? And I did it. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Like I am trying shit. Because Alex tells me this all the time, man. Like the one blessing purely from an artistic standpoint about my position now is that I There are no deadlines. There are no pressures from labels. I'm just making shit. Why not? Why not try everything? Like I don't know if you remember this, but like before I put out the Lo and Behold that turned into De Novo.
Yeah.
Remember I was on Twitter talking about, oh yeah, this is the glam folk era. That's when I really started playing my guitar at all the shows and shit.
That was like 2 years ago, right? Yeah.
Like late 2018 into the early, because that was the thing. I was like, I'm gonna try some shit. I'm gonna see, like, I don't have, like, I think before that I probably had one song where it was just me and guitar. And I was like, people love those type of songs. People love minimal things where it's just really, they can hear your voice, they can hear if you really can sing, if you really can write, that type of shit. So it's like, I embraced that. And now I'm bringing it all together. That's it. You're gonna see, bro. Like, I know I just put out an album like 4 days ago.
Yeah, like honestly,
but there's like, I got like 50
I was
songs.
listening to it, but it's kind of unfair that I've listened to his other projects way more than it. So it's like, I'm not doing it just by like giving a review like, yo, I listened to it, but it's not even like I got to sit with it. Like, let me just play this in like when I'm traveling, when I'm in a car, like I'm like on a plane. But this is not to say that, but it's like, I feel like when we're talking about, you know, Behold, Tony and your previous, going by your actual first name, let me see if this makes sense. It's kind of like you were in an RPG and you're like, you went and I'm like, work on this skill, work on this skill, work on this skill, played around with this, play around with this. All right, this project, we're bringing all these together. I had a cannon here, cool. Bring the cannon. I had a bow and arrow here, bring the bow and arrow. I had a sword here, cool. I'm gonna bring that. Oh, I had like an axe, bring me the axe. I want that too. Yeah. And then you just made some type of masterpiece, some monument using these random things that like individually are very powerful. They're gonna take someone out. But like as an entity together, it's just like, it just shows like how you learned from each kind of like project and lesson. I think that, you know, all right, so like we've addressed earlier, like I love Prince. That's my guy. Right? I was saving like the idols for last, so we can start talking about it now.
No, but I think again, it's one of those really important things that like, and look, he's before all of our times. His peak was before any of us were born. Yeah. But when I got really into him, like I would say like 2012, 2011, like we know all his goddamn hits or whatever. Yeah, but I'm talking about like really sitting down, like album 1, 2, 3, 4, but like, bro, Purple Rain is his 5th album, I believe. Like, Prince had these eras in the, like, I think his first album came out in 79. And like, he had these eras where he was just doing, he had like Dirty Mind is like a goddamn new wave album, really. And it's like totally unmixed on purpose. Like take a moment and listen to that album. It sounds like shit, but it also is purposely sounds like that to fit the vibe of the songs. Wow, I'm gonna have
to double check that.
Yeah, like his label was mad as hell at him for doing that. He refused to let them mix the album properly. And it's like people, all the super great artists have that early discography where they're just figuring it out, man. Like after Jackson 5, Michael Jackson had mad songs and singles and albums that no one, like, what, doesn't he have some shit called like Ben? Or like,
oh yeah, when,
like pre-Thriller albums.
Talking about his pet rat, and it's just like,
yeah, like it's just you can see him like trying to figure out how the fuck do I be a solo artist? How do I do this? And like everybody has that. Like that's why I brought up Thug, because like most of the world heard Young Thug on
with
Danny
Kwame.
Before that, Danny Glover and Stoner.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Rich Homie Quan, the Rich Gang joint was 2014. 2013.
Okay, that's when. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah. So that's when I knew, because that's when they were like, to me, and it sucks that, you know, personal things happen, but to me they were like this cool tandem of like, to me, and I just love video games in general, but they were like a black real to me, where it's like how they were going back and forth, like and it was just, and, you know, people grow, but I feel like even for Young Thug, he needed that, so we can see how individually he's a genius. So
absolutely. But like he had mad music out before all of that. And no, most people don't know, but that's my point, is that like, I'm having fun with it because I know that that's part of the journey. That's part of, like, I have to do this part.
Yeah. Just to follow what you just said, for ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like we forget.
What?
Michael Jackson, like, Off the Wall is his 5th album. right? It's like 1979. Like, I didn't know that. We only talk about
Thriller
off-the-wall
and-
thriller,
and
bad, dangerous,
exactly.
and history. But I didn't remember Got to Be There, Ben,
Fam.
Music in Me, and Forever Michael.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
remember any of those four. But I think remembering back to like a Quincy Jones thing, like those weren't that good in comparison.
Quincy wasn't part of that.
No, he wasn't. But like when you was looking at his career, where it was
mhm.
going, like because of Quincy's kind of like assistant, because
Absolutely.
Michael's great too. Like this is, you know, we know Michael's talented, Quincy Chancellor, but them together,
Different.
it created a different product in his like whole direction.
Yeah.
Whereas like if we didn't have this conversation today about that, I would have never like looked to check like,
But
yo,
it doesn't. I mean, that's why I really find like, so I'll use Twitter as the measuring stick for this conversation, because like I feel like the energy towards my music in the year 2016 on Twitter was like through the roof. Like I feel like everyone was just super excited and willing to like show that.
yeah,
And I think as time has the past 4 years, I feel like that's dropped off significantly. What's surprising is that the numbers have gone up, but the outward like interest and celebratory energy has way fallen off. And I find it interesting because like I don't know if it's well, I'll say this first. I could be a stupid person and take that to heart and let that affect me negatively. But I know that's just stupid, right? I could be, oh, nobody likes my music. I could be that kind of guy. But what I'm using and what I'm looking at it as more is like, are people not aware that this thing is like a journey? Or are they super aware and now they're like just silently watching?
okay. So my critique for that, and I feel like the difference between how social media was in 2015, 2016 to now is really different.
Yes,
and I feel like how people use Twitter is different, where before it was just, I think people were more on Facebook and Tumblr, because Tumblr's default like was around then, because that's when you were building a platform. Everyone was like still sharing on Tumblr. Now, like we have like Clubhouse, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, we have so many other things, TikTok. So our space, because before we only had like 3 or 4. So it was like I knew I was going to Facebook, I was going to Twitter, I was going to Tumblr, and I'll probably just post on Instagram. It wasn't like me living on Instagram. I post and I left.
Yeah.
And now because of how people consume the other platforms, I don't think that people are just like, you know, I don't care about Tony, but it's like the algorithms have changed for a lot of these things. It's like, for me to keep up with your account on Twitter, I have to use TweetDeck, where I have lists for my friends. So I can't even go by the main timeline. Because if I go by the main timeline, I probably don't even exist to you. You probably don't even exist to me. But I have to do the extra work to keep up with you. So I feel like a lot of these platforms make us have to invest in it more just to see our people that we have access to now. And I think that's what's making us seem like people aren't there. Where people are there. And I'm just like, yo, where are these people?
No, that's why I said I don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
It's actually been motivating to me, because it's like it's not making me feel sad, it's not making me angry or bitter. It's like I'm just wondering. Now I'm wondering, I'm just like, is it algorithm or is it just a different thing? Is it just a change? Because there's one thing that I noticed that's cool, man. Like I wasn't aware of it. It wasn't at the front of my mind in 2015, 16, but like a lot of the people that fuck with me were like goddamn 18 years old. So now these like they're like I don't know, one of my homies, Vivian, like he like graduated, I believe he graduated last year. And like he's been since day one, he's been like I never met him before, but he's like a good like a fan, like, but like more than that, because we like talk outside of that shit on Twitter or whatever. But like when he graduated college, I was like, so wait, it just clicked. I was like, wait, this motherfucker was 18?
So if he graduated, that means he's like 23 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, you really grew up on this music. Like I probably grew up on other albums. That's crazy.
And it just reminded me that the people's tastes change, people's lives change. So some of these people were in a place where they could just react and be engaged. Maybe these motherfuckers got kids now and they just listen to my music, but they don't have time to tell me that they're listening to my music. And as I'm saying, it's been interesting. It's like, it's not, I don't take it as a negative at all. It's just really like an interesting thing. And it reminds me that this thing is, everything about it is ever evolving.
So, because I know we touched on Prince, I do want to talk about Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, and Prince, but I do want to talk about Noah Keynes, and Alex Toomey. Just because when I was looking at all of your music, Alex is one of the few people that you've allowed to co-produce with you. Well, from that I've seen.
He just executive produce. Alex is a genius, and
I mean, I realized because of the other people he's worked with.
Yeah,
too.
He's our homie. So like, I met him through Twitter too, really. And then when he moved to New York, right before he moved to New York, me and him linked up, and we just got along like OD fast, and like just like used to go out every single day together and just wild out. And like, he was very much a fan of that first album, New York's Trying to Kill Me, and he just made himself available. And he was like, yo, if you ever need help with this, mixing, whatever, I'll mix for you. Like, I would rather him give me tips than have him actually mix, because that, I always feel like I know myself. And like, he doesn't want to take my money. So naturally, when someone's doing something for free, you have to allow them a little bit more of like a buffer or like
the creative process, right?
No, like timing and stuff.
Oh yeah, because okay.
Like if he's mixing this thing for free, whereas outside of this, he's getting paid thousands of dollars per song. Like I can't be like, yo, I need my shit tomorrow, bro. But that's how I work for myself.
Yeah, because you already know how everything's kind of lined up. So I don't really want to have to rush you when I kind of want to.
I just do myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, it won't be he's a better engineer than me, but I'm fine. I'm fine with that. You know, like he mixed Act the Fool, the single I put out in May, and he might have mixed something else, but I can't remember right now.
It's like it's like a couple of songs, so it's not like a lot.
He's done stuff for me.
But when I see it, it's just like, for someone like you that's very self-sufficient, that's not only a lot of like, respect, but it's a lot of trust, because you know you're used to just doing things by yourself.
I trust him OD. Like I respect him and his, like, bro, he's doing this for a living. So it's like I was gonna ask him to mix this album, but then I didn't, because I was like, we in a pandemic. He's busy working or whatever, and like it just didn't feel right to me. Not that he's struggling at all or whatever. I was like, luckily for him, he's at that place where like nothing has slowed down for him. But even still, like, I'm gonna just mix my own album.
No, I get it.
Like it's fine.
But I just think that's what's so like clear to me in your with every person that you kind of mention in this, like, Brandon, Nigel, Vivian, trying to remember all these names, but like you'll say like how you interact with them, and it'd be like, just good vibes, and it kind of goes from there. And that's just something that, could be water magic. Like I always say, water signs, we're very charismatic to large groups of people, but it just goes to show you're also respectful of that, because other people can be like, oh, you're doing this for free, I'm gonna take advantage of it. But you're just like a really good person. I think that's why it's so easy to like subscribe to who you are when it comes to your music.
Nobody has to do anything.
Yeah.
So like when people do something, I just want them to know that I know they didn't have to do that. So I act like that.
Yeah.
Like no one has to listen to my shit. Why? Who am I? Like there's mad other good musicians.
I mean, you're right, and I feel like I think
so. When people do listen and they're invested and they care, I'm like, oh shit! Like let me be respectful. Let me listen to what you have to say. Let me never get in my feelings about no shit. You know what I mean? Like let's use Alex. There's many times Alex has been like, yeah, I don't like that or whatever. I'm like, okay.
I mean, it's constructive criticism. That's it. He's not trying to hurt your feelings. He's like, yo, I care about you.
Even if it's not, even if it's just I don't like that. I'm like, all right. You are allowed to not like things. Yeah. Like it's fine. Because I know mad people can't deal with that. Mad artists can't deal with that shit, bro. And I wish more people would understand it's not that serious. Like it's not. It's not, because there are actual bad musicians out there that are wildly successful. So like why waste time getting mad at anything?
You just gotta stick to the process and just keep getting better.
Yeah. Did you like it? So yeah, that's all that really matters. For real. Like that's how I approach everything, man. Because it's like this thing has to be fun, or else I'm going to become a hedge fund manager. The moment this is not fun, I'm just gonna stop. So I do everything and act in a way to make sure I maintain that spirit of enjoyment and having fun doing all of this.
I respect that. So I feel like even seeing Alex at that last performance like a year or two ago, I just think that's really dope that you have someone that you get to see his kind of rise in his lane. And I think those are the coolest partnerships to have, right? Because it's just like organically. And I feel like a lot of times, even for me, because it's just about you with this interview, but just putting my 2 cents in, a lot of people look at me as like, sometimes some people will want to call me a clout chaser, and it's like, but if you pay attention to what I do, I don't share everybody's work. No. I only share if people pay attention, people think that I share everyone's work. I don't share everybody's work.
Damn, you know so many people.
And I know a lot of people, like the amount of people that I actually know. So it's like, there's a reason why I share, or like when I'm listening to people's music, or there's I know from like, I think of it from a consumer, from a person that actually creates content, like, because I believe in y'all, right? And I think that's why when I'm looking at this journey that you're going through, when you're a person that you're so, autonomous with that, and he's like, those are people that came into my mind, like Alex and like Noah, like those 3 songs. And I was like, I can't wait for more music when that actually, when the timing works for it.
I talked to him about that last week.
Because I was like, it reminds me of like when people were talking about like that Lil Wayne Drake song on, I think it's No Ceilings 4 or something, or like
the most recent one.
Yeah, and it was like that's all they could talk about. I know some of my friends said they didn't like the project, but they liked the song.
What's the name of it? BB Kings or something.
I think something like that. Yeah. I need to listen to it. And when I hear people get on a piece and I feel like they complement each other well, I just feel like I'm looking forward to. I don't need like a collaboration album, but I just need y'all to be on each other's project. Like y'all got to keep that going, because it's like, you don't get to see that a lot, where people can just, we're in flow and we're killing it together.
No, we talked about that last week, and like, no, that's my guy, man. That's my bro. Like he's.
How did you even meet him?
I met Noah mad years ago. Okay. I believe it was like 2012 or 13, through our mutual friend Steven. He grew up with one of my homies out in Queens and shit. And like, we first met off some like talking to like clothes and sneakers and shit.
Wow.
And then I listened to his music and I liked it. And what I do, like, I just, for the people who I actually like, especially rappers, I think a lot of rappers, and maybe everybody, but for right now, I'm just talking about rappers.
Okay.
I think a lot of rappers are afraid to try different shit because it's very easy to come off as corny and like as a OD try hard.
Right. Okay.
When to step outside of your comfort zone. So like for years we would like we would just talk about collaborations and stuff like that, and like he had cemented himself in like the New York like I rap type of scene, you know what I mean? Like he's had stuff mashing like Two Dope Boys and stuff like that, right? So like that's his comfort zone right there. And I remember like, I think it was the project, I think he put out in 2016 as well. He put out this project, and I forget the name of the song right now. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like one of those songs that has like the cool transition in the middle. And the first half of it was like, I don't know, it just made me, it sounded like something like I could hear Future on, like the beat and shit, right? So in 2017, me and Alex was DJing this party, and in this, I had come up with like little 3-song, like, cause I hate coming up with like whole sets, cause I think that's just mad lazy. But I did have like a couple, like 2 and 3 songs, like transitions, like, oh, I'm gonna definitely go this song into this song. And I like Noah's project so much, I was like, when he pulls up, I'm gonna play his shit and transition it into Harambe by Young Thug.
Wow.
And he walked in, dapped each other up, whatever, and I went back to the DJ booth and I did it. And bro, he literally was like hearing his own song, and like people was turning up to it. And then I transitioned it. He just looked at me. He was like, bro, what? And the next day he was like, fam, A, I've never heard my shit played in that type of setting. He's heard his shit loud at shows and stuff like that, but not at a function where motherfuckers is turning up. And then to transition it into a Young Thug song, he was like, he would have never even considered himself it. Because at the time, he didn't listen to that stuff like that, like Future and Thug and stuff. And that's my shit. That's what I listen to.
Because you listen to just different waves and stuff like
that. Yeah,
but
those two artists in particular, I think I don't care what anybody says, they will always be underrated because unless you're willing to understand that those are top 5 artists of all time, you're not talking the same language as me.
You're not in the same bracket right now.
Yeah, like we gotta, eventually we're gonna be forced to put the proper respect on those two in particular, Future and I think people like Drake is with them, but people know what Drake is.
I mean, I think especially with that song that he did with which was one of my favorite songs on the Dark Lane demo tapes with the D4L with Drake, Future and Young Thug, and just how I need more music with those three on the same track.
They have so many songs that got leaked that's on YouTube that you should go listen to.
I will do that.
Because they have at least 5 songs just like better than that one. That's just out there.
Okay.
In the YouTube leakiverse.
But I think that so, and you saying DJing just because, as someone that you produce music, you play instruments, you sing, and you do all this writing, you understand music and like the beats per minute and how to like find those connective things. Yeah. And to you is like nothing, but to him he's like, I would have never thought that. And I think that's what makes, again, everything with you is organic, and that's what I like, right?
Bro, it goes back to the story I told you. My homie Brandon, 2008, when I was like, fam, I guarantee if I press play, the girls will dance. Yeah. Like, that's just like, you know what I know what it is. I won't even pretend like I don't. It's the fact that a lot of people, and this, I'm gonna say it and it's gonna sound funny and kind of silly, but I mean it. A lot of people not really outside. And what I mean by that is like people go out and they enjoy themselves in whatever way and to whatever extent that they want to. I go outside. Like if I leave my house, I will start the party. You don't have to show me how to have fun.
You know how to start.
Once I am the fun now. Yeah. Like I am that guy. Like without, you've been around me, bro. I'm not trying to be the center of attention. However,
you know how to get the wave started.
Yes, I will start this.
You get an emotion, and then you kind of you push that, push it up, and exactly. Push it, and you're like,
because I don't care to be like that guy. Like, please look at me. That's not really my thing, actually. But I will do that for a moment with purpose.
See, and that's why when I go to like events with you, I think I get you. That's why some people will think of people like us as weird. Like, depending on who I'm around, like if I'm around nobody that does what we do, then I'll be that person. Yeah. But I don't have to be that person. I don't have to be that person all the time. But if I'm around someone that's like, this is your night? Yes. Cool. I will support you. I'm right. I got your back. But that's when I saw you do. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah. All right, Tony's got this. I got his back. That's it. We're going to do this.
So I think with being that, and then like, I'm not the world's greatest DJ at all. I just have DJ'd for so many years when I felt like it, that I just understand the things that people like the sounds, the energy. It's not necessarily like a tempo thing. I actually don't believe in that.
Wow. Okay.
I don't believe in BPMology. Do not.
That's okay.
That's it, because there are too many songs that defy that logic.
I'm not a DJ, so I just go by what
like one of my things. Like let's talk a little DJ talk real quick. Like I hate tempo syncing as a DJ. I think that's the laziest shit ever.
Okay. So
like in Tractor where you can literally pick any song and just like say one song is 90, one song's 100. You can just literally do tempo matching beat syncing, and once you load that 90 tempo song, it'll speed it up to 100.
Wow.
And then you can also switch the key so it's not all the way like Chipmunky or whatever, you know what I mean?
I didn't know that you can do that.
Yeah, and I think that's mad lazy because I like to DJ and play all the like I'll have a song that's 135 BPM and transition into a 90 BPM song, and you will not notice. You will not. The song will be slower, but the energy will not change.
Okay, so I just love how like you're mad humble about things, but I mean, look, there's a lot of good DJs, there's a lot of bad DJs, and a lot of bad DJs get paid.
Every DJ is better than me at DJing, but they can't instigate positive energy better than I can. They cannot.
All right, you know what? Look, I'm not going to argue with you about
No, but it's not about that accolade. It's
No,
about
I know,
yeah,
but it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
to me, the most important thing is because there's a lot of people that are good DJs that when it comes to vibes, that's the most important thing. Like when you were saying outside, like you got to read the room. Like, as someone that's on stage and performing, like I have to read the room.
Exactly.
And if I don't read the room, I don't care if I'm better than anybody else. Like if I'm not reading the room right, I'm not doing my job. So I think that's great.
Exactly. And the reason I even started talking about that is when it comes to certain artists and people just not understanding or not seeing the full vision. So to finish that Noah Kane story, is like the next day we talked and literally we were like, yo, we got to work together. And it was a process at first because like I said, he exists. He built his own universe for his work already. And I was like, bro, like the first song we made, I believe, is Drown.
Yeah.
It took some convincing to make him make that song.
That's one of my favorite songs
because he wasn't that kind of rapper with the ad libs and I was like, bro, you've been rapping since I think his first album came out in 2014, right? And I was like, bro, anyone who's your fan knows that you can rap. So we're not here to rap anymore. Like when you come in the studio with me, that's not what we're doing. But I said, but you're so good that that's just gonna happen anyway. And it's like that's the thing that more artists need to understand. You don't have to especially, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna focus in on rappers because there's lyricism is a beautiful art form that is, it's rare to be it's hard to be a great lyricist. However, there's a way to be all of it. That's why I said the Drakes, the Futures, the Thugs, they're all of it, bro. Like a lot of people, I hate when people complain about Future talking about the same shit. Cause I'm like, what songs are y'all listening to? Cause
he has so much music. And it's just like,
like that man has songs for and about everything. If you want to hear him rap, there's a billion songs like that. Sometimes he just in there vibing out. And that's why he's a full, complete, great artist. Cause he has all of it and he does all of it very well. So that's why I said, no, like we even had a joint, bro, the beat on my album, for the song called Good By Myself. Yeah. I made that for him first.
Wow.
But then we never finished it because of the pandemic shit.
Okay.
So then I kept the drum pattern and then I just added all the other shit that's there, like all the symphonic, the strings and all that shit. I added that after. But like that was a beat I was making with him in the studio early this year. Because I wanted, and it's funny, at the time, I might have the voice memo on my phone, bro, but I was telling him, I was like, bro, you Jamaican. You ain't got no songs where you talking that shit. I was like, I got songs where I turned the accent all the way on. You know what I mean? And he was like, bro, I can't do that. And I literally looked him in his face. I said, so you gonna let Drake be a better Jamaican than you?
Wow. Damn, you had to go
and
there.
The nigga was like, we on it. Because that's what I'm saying. Artists don't, they have a reluctance to just jump all the way out their comfort zone.
Because you don't want to seem like you, because now everyone's like, oh, when we use Drake, it's like you're wave hopping or like you're doing these things. And it's like, I mean, again, to each their own. Not everyone's like us. So I just love taking it in. But
he's wave hopping. So what? Wake me up when he does it bad. That's what I say.
That's a valid point.
When he does it bad, because even the joint he got with Heady One, I love that song. And that nigga was talking in Arabic and all sorts of shit. And I was like, that was amazing.
I was playing that single on like my phone the entire time. Bro. And even with the video. So I just think that we just gotta let people create. But
bro.
Just going back to the idols, because I do want to do that before we close out and just talk about Bitch I'm Cute. And so we talked about Prince, Jimi Hendrix, and Michael Jackson, right? How did they come to be like people that you kind of look to musically?
Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson, so he's part of I am black. He's part of my life. That's it. That's it. There's nothing more than that. He is part of us. That's that. Jimi Hendrix actually I didn't know any Jimi Hendrix song until way later in life, and it's funny. My homie made this joke when I turned 27. He was like, "Bro, if you live another year, that means your music is trash."
Wow.
Because he was like, all the niggas in the 27 Club is lit. And then from that moment on, I was like, wait, I need to listen to Jimi Hendrix. I didn't know any Jimi Hendrix songs at the time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I understand why he's, to date, the GOAT guitar player. Like this, it's different. Like, I don't know if you knew this. He's left-handed.
I did not know that.
but he didn't have a left-handed. You know how they have left-handed and right-handed guitars.
Yeah, because it's like how the shape isn't
not the shape so much, but the strings. So like if I hold the guitar in front of you right now, the top string will be the thickest, and then it'll get thinner.
Oh, it's not because of when you're going like the thing, right?
The strum hand. Yeah. So he took a right-handed guitar and flipped it and played it backwards. So to him, the top string is the thin. Like that in itself, I was like, because he couldn't afford a left-handed guitar, or he couldn't find whatever the case is. Wow. And he grew up playing like that. So it was interesting to me because it's like from his inception or his start of playing guitar, he was doing it different because he was literally playing it backwards. And that makes sense to me why everything about him is different. And that's back to what I was saying early in the conversation about people who are classically trained and they have these boundaries and barriers built in. You know what I mean? Like in when you're learning piano, you have to perfect things the right way before you're allowed to play with things like dissonance. And that's why jazz musicians are the best. They don't care about any of that.
They just basically find a sound.
We vibing here, bro. Like that's
crazy.
it. Yeah.
And I feel like just with kind of like talking about Jimmy, it makes sense when it comes to you and it comes to just everything that you've kind of experienced over the course of your life musically. Yeah. And just getting to this point of like, because you've done things at this time frame, like you have the freedom to be like, I'm not having to adhere to these rules that y'all having to put on yourself.
Bro, you know, it's all of that. Like I've just always liked the people that are good, but they do it the way they want to. Like I said, in the first one was like Cam. Cam said, "I'm the biggest gangster in Harlem. However, I will wear as much pink as I want to." Fat Joe the same. Like that's it's simple now. It doesn't mean anything now. But in 2000, that was a big deal.
Because before we were just so rigid on like
on everything.
We don't wear pink, and he's wearing pink furs, and he's the reason why men were wearing like the pink 12s. Like if you remember around that time, like the pink 12s came out, and he's just wearing it.
So it's things like that where it's not. I don't like different for the sake of different. I do not like that because that's a forced thing. I like it when it's swaggy and when it's like when it really means something. When it's really like like the number one thing like. Personally, and it's I laugh every time I tell the story because I don't know, fam. I think I was 15, and like all of a sudden I woke up one morning and the whole back of my head was gray, bro. At age 15,
I remember you talked about this in the thing.
And then at 24, I started getting grays in my beard, and what do most men do when they get grays? When they get one gray a little too early,
they start dying.
And I said, I will never do that. I'm not waking up every morning and combing the youth back into my beard. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not. I'll be old. Fine. I'm old. Okay. What now?
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. Like.
And I think the interesting thing, because you just allowed it to happen that way, people actually kind of resonated with it even stronger.
That's me as a musician, me as a person in general. Like I'm not gonna try to do some shit because that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how fam, I was 27 with a goddamn full grays coming out, and I was like, oh, this is fire because I have it. It's me. I have it. It's there. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like that's me, and that's how I approach the music too. That's why I said even when I was talking about this shit like on Twitter, like it feels like the
folk.
It's like no, I'm not mad about it. This is what it is. I want to know why, but I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it or like go into deep investigative journalism mode. Like I'm just but I like that in music. I like that in fashion. I like that in regular life and like I respect all the people that are just themselves, and you can tell that they're not trying to be a thing.
They're just being them.
They're just that's how they are. They exist, and that's it, bro.
Yo, Tony, this interview It's been eye-opening for a lot of things. You just ran out of water.
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're almost done?
Yeah, we're at the end.
Okay, all right.
So like, you're going to need to get hydrated. But just to, close out, I'm really excited to see more of the projects, and I'm going to be able to sit with Bitch, I'm Cute and the other singles that came out this year a lot more. But I think this is my last question. I know you said some other artists. If you can name 3 people, and it's not to maybe manifest it, I don't want pressure, who would you like to collaborate with? Like, outside of your idols or something, like, or like, who would you wish to collaborate on a song or produce for? Like,
oh, easy. Future Thug Drake.
That's it?
I love Ariana Grande very much.
Okay. And
then the other people I can't think of right now.
It's cool. I mean, this was on the spot, but I just feel like I kind of figured, because you like, there's such a high bar of respect that you have for your your Scorpio brothers. They get you. Yeah. But no, I just think it's great. I'm looking forward to more of your projects. So this is your time to kind of plug your album, plug the all of your socials and stuff like that, and make sure people kind of like get those streams up, get those purchases, buy the albums and all that type of stuff.
I'm at Tony Thames _ everywhere. On Tuesday, on December 1st, I put out my most recent album titled Bitch, I'm Cute. And it's a great album. It's very chaotic, because that is who I am as a person. That's the only, if you like chaos and whatever the word is for one step below arrogance in the music.
Would that be hubris?
No,
not hubris.
No, I just be talking mad shit.
Okay.
That's it. I be talking mad shit in my songs, and I talk about a lot of fly shit and fun shit, and it's just chaotic, and it's another self-produced, beautiful journey. It's only 9 songs, 28 minutes.
Oh, that's efficient.
Yeah.
That's gonna have some definitely replay value.
Yeah, so it's fun, man. I purposely wanted to get back to making a fun album, because the last album was a little emo.
Emotions happen.
No, that's how I felt.
Yeah,
that's how I felt at the time. But this one is more like the regular me, like just me talking my shit. So
we love it.
That's it.
Well, catch Tony Thames _ This is Skip from BK on like literally every social media platform. Literally, I'm even on Clubhouse. I do have an invite. I doubt when this is out, I have it still. So we'll see how it is. Follow me on Cove Alpha when it comes to all of my podcasts and articles and projects there. This is edited by Slept On Creative. So shout out to Jomo and Katiana. And until next time, guys, stay safe and make sure you wear a mask. Facts. And see you guys soon. All right, later. And we're back. So actually nobody's here, like no production, no sound people, just you and me, post-credit scene. So shout out to Tony Thames. It's my guy, water sign, gang, Scorpios. Shout out to y'all. If you just want to stay in the know with Tony and his music and his journey, follow him on Twitter and Instagram, Tony Thames _ That is Tony Thames together _ and check out his music on Apple Music and wherever. So it's Tony Thames, and also his old moniker still has music up, Bxhxld. So it's Bxhxld. That's Bxhxld. That's Bxhxld and Tony Thames. And make sure you follow your boy, Skip from BK on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, just to know, what we doing, how we doing, when it comes to just, life, things coming out, everything, you dig. Shout out to Slept On Creatives, production, audio, visuals, everything. They do it all. Just make sure you got the cash. Make sure you have it in full. You can follow them on IG at Slept On Creatives, and you can also follow them on Twitter at SO_creatives. That's SO_creatives. And last but certainly not least, it's Cove Alpha. I am the head honcho of Cove Alpha. Everything is powered by Cove Alpha that I do. So that's where all the podcasts are, all the articles, everything. So just keep in the know. Events, it usually is like Cove Alpha. If it's by me, it's by Cove Alpha. So stay tuned. Hopefully you're enjoying the season so far, and just we'll see you soon. All right, later.